Hello, beautiful souls. I was pondering something that I watched yesterday that had me thinking about how hardships really can be the catalyst that pushes you into what is next for you. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the popular phrase, perception is reality. And that really rings true, especially when you think about how energy works and the fact that what you focus on, you make room for. And so, in the same way, if my perception is that everything is going to hell in a handbasket, then probably things are going to start going to hell in a handbasket because that is what I am focusing my energy towards. Okay. And so, as I was pondering this, I was thinking about one of the key turning points in my life, which was back in 2008, and after having worked in corporate America and academia and secular not-for-profits for, I don't know, like 15 or so years, I had switched jobs just recently when I was at a new organization and ended up being let go. And it was challenging for me, obviously, first of all, because being let go is never an easy thing, but I also was confronted with all of the secret judgments that I'd had about other people who'd been let go from jobs. And it's the stuff that you would never say to somebody. You know how like someone would be saying, I was let go, but it wasn't my fault. There was this thing, and in your head, you're thinking, I'm sure you believe that, but I'm sure you probably did something. Because again, there's that secret judgment that we often will allow to kind of percolate that we don't really realize until the universe kind of holds up this mirror for us. And so all of a sudden I'm confronted with all of these like ugly thoughts that I've had. And so, I had to do a lot of shadow work about that, because in this situation, legitimately, like they were, it doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you that part of the story. Suffice it just to say, legitimately, there was reasons why, I would have felt justified in my feelings of whatever. I'm still justifying it. That's hilarious to me that almost 20 years later, the part of me, and for those of you who are neurodivergent, especially those on the spectrum, you understand this. Like one of our biggest pet peeves, and forgive the rabbit trail, is the fact that we have a very strong attachment to accuracy. And so one of the things that makes me the most crazy is for people to believe things about me that are fundamentally not true. And so it always makes me want to correct it. But from a healthy boundaries perspective, I am responsible for my own sphere of influence, which is my thoughts, my reactions, right? What I am not capable of controlling, nor should I even try to, is someone else's thoughts, perceptions, etc. And yet we so often like want to tinker in that other sphere of influence, because I'm like, I want you to know the truth about me, when the reality is it's not my job to do that. I mean, I can give information and people can choose to believe it or not. You're going to believe what you want about me. I don't get to change that. And that is fundamentally challenging for me. Someone who is wired as I am, because I want you to know the truth. I want you to have accurate information. I digress. Okay, coming back on point. So I was thinking about this time of when I was let go, and the reality is I was like this far away from autistic burnout when that happened, because not only had I been working ridiculously long hours as one is wont to do in in corporate settings and whatnot. I also had, some side hustles that were taking up a lot of time, and I just never rested back then. I was just, got to do all these things, very successful, done well with education, all the things. And that was kind of what I hung my self-esteem on, was all of my like internal running resume. And so like you just put a blot on my internal resume, and I am not okay with that. And so, but I was exhausted. And so I remember having this moment of just saying to the universe, like, I just want 6 months. I just need 6 months break. And actually, it ended up being the moment that shifted me from working for someone else to working for myself. And I'm not sure that I ever would have been able to look at my salary and go, oh, I don't need that. I'm just going to switch and work for myself. I don't know that I ever would have had the strength of mind and character to be able to say, this is a life choice decision that I want to make, and I'm going to, lay that down and choose this. But because the universe pushed me into that situation, I was able to make that choice, and realized the longer that I was able to get into that place of rest and quiet and stillness, I was like, this is where I need to be. This resonates for me. This is my preference. I want this. And then you will do what is necessary to sustain and maintain that. And so what it had me thinking about was just this, is you have the opportunity to look at everything that happens in your world as through a positive lens. And I'm not talking positive toxic positivity. I'm not saying you're going to flip it, and be like, everything's fine. This is not like, a negating of true emotion. But what it is looking at the challenges and saying, what is in this for me? Like, if you think of the universe as being on your side, as having your back, then you can filter things through that understanding of what is there in this for me. And any situation, any hardship in a relationship, there was something where I had a team of people, and when I started moving into crystals, actually they fundamentally thought that was wrong and evil, and they told me so, and they left the team. And at the time, I was deeply wounded by that. But what I realized in retrospect was, honestly, what they gave me was a gift, because we really did have differing viewpoints at that point, and they continued to separate more as time passed. And so them separating was actually a gift, because had we continued to try to keep that relationship intact, and I mean, we're still amicable, but like, if they had still been on my team, how could they have supported me if they didn't if they didn't believe in me, if that makes sense. So all that to say, assume positive intent. Like, how can you filter something through that positive lens and look for the catalyst that's going to propel you into what is next for you, and that is a positive thing, whether it's character growth, whether it's the next step in your life. Like, how can you shift that? Anyway, hopefully that's helpful to somebody today. Love and light to you guys, and have an awesome day.